Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a resplendent Mugello circuit here in Italy for race number 2, round number 1 of TCR Europe in 2026. My name is Paul Jeffrey, up here in the commentary box, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the broadcast today for what should be a fantastic day of touring car racing. Of course, this is race number 2, as always the case in race number 2. We flip round our top 10 grid. So 10th place in qualification yesterday will start from pole position today. Reverse grids make for entertaining times, methinks. And if you joined us for race number 1 yesterday, you would have been in for an absolute treat. TCR Europe is back and back with a bang. And race number 2 is right around the corner, where we do it all again for 25 minutes, plus a single lap. Touring car racing is what we were born to enjoy, and I'm sure that you will all agree with me. It's going to be a very entertaining race indeed. 7.8 degrees centigrade is the air temperature this morning, 10:55 local time. It's a little bit chilly here in Italy, but I come from the UK, so it's actually glorious by comparison, but perfect weather conditions indeed to go motor racing. We'll take a look at the calendar for TCR Europe in 2026 in a few moments' time. And there we go, right on cue. We're here at the Mugello circuit in Italy. And then a small break before we head over to the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, the weekend of the 15th to the 17th of May. Back to Paul Ricard, once again in France for round number 3. Then the Hungaroring, a welcome return to the calendar, following off by Monza. And has become a bit of tradition of late, the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia will host the final round of what I really do anticipate being arguably one of the most competitive TCR Europe campaigns in recent memory. And certainly the upward trajectory continues in this championship. Here's a quick look at the Mugello circuit that we're racing at today. 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. 5.245 kilometres in length. 1.1 kilometre is the start-finish straight. Good opportunity for drivers to get the drag, the slipstream and the breakdown into San Donato, the first corner here at this wonderful, wonderful circuit. TCR lap record, you can see there is a 157.732. Well, that fell in qualification. Gabriele Corvini is now the lap record holder with a 1 minute 54.481 seconds.
Welcome again to
so I'm going to put you
Mugello.
down to the grid.
Seems like we have a few minutes to talk to the drivers, so let's have a quick word from Nick Taylor. Hello, Nick. So it will be your first win if everything goes well here at Mugello. How do you feel about it? How you will manage this?
I'm super excited to be here on pole in Mugello. I've won here before in the TCR Italy, so I mean, we'll see for this race. We struggled a little bit yesterday, but I think we zoned in on a good car setup, so we just have to go and see.
Perfect. I hope everything goes well, and good luck for the race. And then I would like to talk to Marco Butti, as I know that it's one of his favorite circuits. Let's go to have a quick word with him. Hello, Marco. How do you feel ahead of this race? I know that it's one of your favorite circuits, so tell us about the circuit and how do you feel?
Yeah, the feeling is quite good. Let's see what we can do today. Yesterday was a bit a mess in the start. I did a mistake, I have to say. But yeah, try to recover our position today, and we are here starting from P3, so we can achieve something really big.
Okay, let's see. Good luck for the race. Okay, let's see how the race goes, and good luck for all the drivers. And I'm giving word back to Paul Jeffrey. Paul?
Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much, Helena. Down there on the grid, surprise interviews. Actually, wasn't expecting that one, so great that we've managed to sneak those in towards the start of what should be a fascinating race. And as Helena mentioned, Nick Taylor believe it or not, hasn't won a race yet in TCR Europe. Be fascinating to see what the reigning double TCR Italy champion can do. So let's have a look at the grid then. Reverse top 10, Nicholas Taylor and Victor Anderson are your front row of the grid. Audi and Cupra brands respectively. Alongside in row number 2 is Marco Butti and Nico Baldan. An all-Italian affair. Baldan was strong in race number 1, Butti on the redemption arc. Johnson Park will line up in 5th position. He's got Mike Halder for company in 6th place alongside. Can Mike show some of the pace that we expected coming into race number 1? Keep an eye on that car. Tiago Pania did not get away from the line yesterday. He'll start in 7th, hoping for a better start. Janui Park will be keeping him company on row number 4 in 8th position. Janui didn't finish the race yesterday. We'll be hoping for more luck this time around. Gabriele Corvini in tears on his debut podium yesterday. He'll be lining up in 9th. Alongside him, keeping him company, was our debut race winner, Alex Lee, for the BRC Racing Team. All row 5 for the Hyundai drivers. Be fascinating to see if they can charge through the field. Max Hart is in 11th place. Alongside him is Ruben Volt. Both drivers for ALM Motorsports. It'll be interesting as they try and see who can be the forerunner of that team. Mikhail Simonov is in 13th and Victor Weyrich in 14th position. 2 drivers that are new to TCR Europe in 2026. They make up row number 7. Row 8 in 15th is Felipe Fernandez. Alongside him is fellow Spaniard Santiago Concepcion. Felipe Fernandez in a Honda. Concepcion now racing for the Icoa Racing Team in the Audi. Adam Shepherd will line up in 17th for Monlau Motorsports. Giacomo Prandelli alongside for Icoa Racing in 18th position. The Italian driver on home soil looking for a good result. Raphael Fournier will be in 19th place. Another debutant in the series is Victor Chan in 20th position. Victor, all about getting the mileage at this moment in time and building up his experience level. Tom Schaap is in 21st place alongside Victor Fernandez in 22nd. Tom, let's remember, making his debut in car racing this weekend, having moved over from the world of powerboats, believe it or not. Sandro Pilate will be 23rd on his one-off appearance, and alongside him, Julian Brichet, who couldn't make qualification, hence being down in 24th, and unfortunately suffered dramas during the race as well for a DNF yesterday evening. Julian, lightning start off the line. He'll be hoping for a little bit more come race number 2 for round number 1 of TCR Europe here in Mugello. And as you can see, the crowds are watching on. The drone shots are absolutely sensational. Big shout out to the drone operator and the team here that put this broadcast together. Some really fabulous shots of these cars in action on what is my first visit to Mugello, and I can say I am in love with the place, with this region, with the circuit, with the people. An absolutely sensational way to open up the 2026 campaign. And let's hope, dear viewers at home, that our 24 TCR Europe drivers are up to the task of putting on a show for the next 30 minutes or so. History suggests they are. So I see no reason why we're not going to have an absolute barnstormer of a race over these next 25 minutes plus 1 lap. We have some onboard cameras as well this season, which is very nice. You're riding on board with Gabriele Corvini at this moment in time, looking back at Alex Lee. In fact, no, I tell a lie, I think it's Tego Parnia, actually, that we're looking at here. And this is Mike Halder, ALM Motorsports Honda driver. Mike, back in TCR Europe, the German driver, victorious in many TCR categories around the globe. It's wonderful to have Mike back in action again, and I expect big things from Mr. Halder, for sure. And this is riding on board with Marco Butti there as well, the Italian driver. And this is once again Marco Butti. Now remember, folks, if you watched race number 1, if you didn't watch race number 1, stop listening, because I'm going to give a spoiler. Marco Butti, unhelped, dropped the car of his own accord, nosed it into the barriers as well. I thought that was game over. We had a safety car though, didn't we? And the recovery drive for Marco Butti from the back of the grid in the barriers to 10th position tells me that the Italian driver has a lot of pace on board that Monlau Motorsports Cupra. Keep your eye on Marco Butti. He'll be starting this race from 3rd position. If he can stay out of trouble on that opening lap, there's opportunity knocks for Marco Butti. Slight problem, slight issue that he has that he'll need to overcome. He's got a brand new teammate in Victor Anderson, who's in front of him in 2nd position on the grid. This is going to be interesting to see how the two Monlau drivers, in the tentative early stages, shall we say, of their working relationship. Nothing like putting it under pressure is there between these two, but Victor, we know, is an incredibly clean and an incredibly fair racer, as is Marco as well. I'm sure that they will play nice in these early stages, and if they don't, Nico Baldan is never a man to be invited to a party twice. He'll be keeping a watching brief in 4th position. Very keen, I am sure, to ensure that he is in contention with his brand new teammate and TCR Italy title challenger, Nick Taylor, who's starting from pole position. The pressure, ladies and gentlemen, on the shoulders of our 2026 cohort is significant coming into this 2nd race. You know what they say about pressure, diamonds do form under pressure, and I think we're in for a diamond afternoon or morning, should I say, of motor racing here in beautiful, beautiful Italy. Right, a little bit of homework from yesterday's race. Couple of penalties to tell you about. Julian Brichet was given a 2-minute time penalty for using an inappropriate part of the racetrack to get back into the pit lane. That drops him from 21st to 21st. And then a 5-place grid penalty for Ginui Park for contact with Victor Weyrich. That drops Ginui from potentially 3rd on the grid down to 8th for the start of this one. Few stewards' investigations, relatively clean, to be fair, for a day one in touring car action. I have a sneaking suspicion we've got about a month and a half until the next race, and everybody's flights are in the evening. This could be a little bit more dramatic indeed. So here we go then. The calm before the storm. The last few moments of nervous anticipation, both for drivers, team members, and those watching on trackside or at home, wherever you are in the world. This is the moment that we all wait for. This is the moment, I don't know about you, but I work the working week to get to the weekend for this very, very moment in time. This is where everything is at its premium. Race start, preparation, warming the tyres, warming the brakes, last few checks for all of our drivers. There is Sandro Palatti in the white machine. There is Julian Brichet in the blue JSB competition car, lining up the final slot of the grid, 24th position. The flag marshal at the back of the field will check everything is okay. The green flag will wave, and then that button is the button of power that will get us motor racing. So let's go then. Get ready. Do not adjust your television sets. TCR Europe is about to go racing. The lights are on, the lights are off, and we are away for race 2, round 1 of TCR Europe in 2026. Everybody appears to get away from the line nice and cleanly this time. Tiago Pania included. That's good news as we round the crest of the hill, run down into San Donato. It is your pole sitter, Nicholas Taylor, that has the early advantage, but a little bit further back. There is Park to the inside of Nico Baldan. Rapid start from the Italian, but Baldan loses the rear. Cold rear tyres contact in the middle of the pack as well. That's one of the Icoa machines in strife. I can see another car rejoining the circuit. We'll come back to that one in a minute because Nico Baldan, another save down at San Donato, arms all over the cockpit. Baldan keeps the car on the track but loses position. There's Victor Anderson riding on board with Marco Butti. Butti to the outside, I think that was of Anderson. Another on board, a little bit further in the pack. Look how frantic this is. 24 cars occupying the same piece of racetrack, and we are just about through. That is Marco Butti. The focus, the attention on Marco Butti's eyes as he's trying so very hard to find a way past Park. Somebody else is off in the background. That's another one of the Icoa machines. Mike Halder, that you can see there, managed to make it through. Tiago Pania has done a good job to move himself up the running order. Hopefully some live timing comes on soon, and I'll be able to tell you where people are as Nick Taylor currently leading. No need to worry about that one. We can see that very clearly just behind him. Jung-Sung Park keeping a watching brief, and then just behind Jung-Sung, Marco Butti in the 111. Watching, waiting, looking for opportunities. Marco, job done this time. Made it through the opening lap relatively damage and incident 3. And now it's up to these top 3 drivers to start pulling away. The wise move at this moment in time is just to stretch your legs a little bit. Try and build a bit of a gap to 4th position behind, and then you can start squabbling. We saw in race 1 yesterday, immediately you get into a fighting situation, you're hemorrhaging time, you're falling back, and you will fall back into the grateful clutches of Mr. Mike Halder. Currently, a little bit cast adrift there in 7th position, in 4th position, sorry, is the number 7. Halder, not quite as fast as the leading trio last time around. There's Park under pressure from Alex Lee. Lee locks up to the outside, Nico Beldan. Remember, Beldan recovering, kept the car on the racetrack. Well, he is all the way down in 8th position and very much in the middle of this fight. Beautiful stuff. Look back at Alex Lee. There is the BRC driver. Good start from Alex, from 10th up to 7th position. Corvini didn't see exactly what happened there. He was one of the drivers in strife. Drops a couple of places down in 12th place. We haven't seen it on screen, but Max Hart and Victor Weyrich are in pit lane. So Max came into this one hoping for as many points as humanly possible. Well, you don't get points in pit lane, unfortunately, for Max. And there we can see a little bit of investigation for the ALM team. Not quite sure what happened there. We did see a few cars in strife on the opening lap. Couldn't quite pick out who they were at the time, but it does suggest that Max Hart perhaps has got caught up in the melee of the opening few laps. We'll come back to that one later on, though, of course, because have a look at this one. Alex Lee to the inside. Gets it done on Victor Anderson. Anderson down into 6th position now. Incredibly vulnerable from Janui Park. There is the number 87. So Light Indigo Racing, Hyundai, Elantra and TCR of Janui Park. The white machine versus the red car and yellow flashings of Victor Anderson. A little bit wide from the Swedish driver on for the number 10. Anderson, though, can he recover the car back? He'll have the inside line to the next set of corners, and he does just about hold on. There we're looking back at Nico Beldan. Flash of the lights from the Italian driver, Tiago Pania. Not one to mess about there. A little bit of a kiss, rat-a-tat-tat. The Saturni cars. Hello. Bit of Morse code on the rear bumper of Nico Beldan. That's Tiago's message to the experienced Italian driver. Hey, I want to come through, but look at the straight line pace of that Audi with a slipstream effect as well. Marco Butti trying to do a carbon copy as well at the head of the pack. Looks to the outside of Johnson Park. No opportunity on that occasion. I was mentioning this to the team, actually, how impressed I was by Young Sung's performance yesterday and his calmness and coolness under pressure, not defending fresh air, not racing through the rear-view mirror. Well, here's another absolutely beautiful example of that composure. Johnson Park, over the end of last season, the start of this year, seems to have just found another level, does the driver of the Solid Indigo team. As there we go, that's a little pass that you saw just at the bottom of your screen. That is Adam Shepherd and Gabriele Corvini. I think Corvini made it through. Another great start as well for Julian Brichet up there in 16th position. And there's a sideways park. Absolutely incredible stuff here. Marco Butti really applying the pressure now on the Hyundai driver. But while they're squabbling, don't forget Mike Halder. Mike keeping a watching brief. Last time around, 0.3 of a second quicker than this particular battle. Halder, with the benefit of fresh air, not needing to apply any racing techniques apart from qualifying laps, he's going to close up and be in this contention. It's going to be a three-way conversation. In fact, as I said it becomes a three-way conversation. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all in your shot there. Johnson Park is the man, the cork in the bottle at this moment in time, although the pace is pretty even amongst the three of them. But the big question is, can they sort out their little fight to get back into the conversation with Nicholas Taylor at the head of the pack? While they're squabbling, Taylor lapping cleanly, lapping consistently. As we cross the line, I'll tell you the lap times and the gap. This time around, it was 7/10, nearly 8/10 of a second. Last time around, 1.3. A 1 minute 57, 163 for Nick Taylor, a 57.4 for the chasing pack behind. Job done for the Canadian driver. More of that, please. Marco Butti to the inside then. No opportunity. I think Marco recognised that one, didn't he? A little bit of a whisper of the brake lock there. It looks at the inside again. Wow, this is really aggressive driving from Marco Butti. But again, just like yesterday, Johnson Park not defending fresh air, not being aggressive with his moves. He's placing the car perfectly. Wonderful Wonderful shots then from the drone here, and I'm just hearing in my ear from our broadcast director, thank you for that information, that's really, really good. The drone operator and the dun system that we have here is the same one that is used in bobsleigh and that kind of thing, so it's a very high speed. You can tell we're following a touring car quite comfortably, and I've got to say, I adore these shots, absolutely brilliant. This is the future, ladies and gents, right here, right now. Look at these shots. I've been around and a fan of motorsport a little bit longer than I'd care to imagine. And yeah, to be able to get scenes like this one only comes in sim racing, doesn't it? Absolutely incredible stuff as we follow Marco Butti's continued pursuit of Johnson Park ahead. Two different cars, of course. Johnson Park in the Hyundai Elantra N, the Solite Indigo squad. A bit of history about them. They came to TCR Europe last season for their first year in the category, but they were in TCR Italy originally, team and drivers. So although they're in a Korean squad, this is a home round in effect for this team, and you can tell they're absolutely on the money, know exactly how to get this car pedaling fast. Marco Butti being Italian, of course. Oh, Marco almost catching the grass and sending the car straight to the scene of the accident. No such problem though. Look at the slipstream now for the Italian driver. He's going to wait as long as possible to make that move. Johnson feels the need just to cover the inside line. That's going to compromise him now. He doesn't have the optimal line out of the corner, and that may be an opportunity, like Thiago Pania sees an opportunity with Adam Shepherd and keeps that position. Well and truly defended. Shepherd though on his tippy toes. You can tell the body language of the Monlau machine. The British driver, the reigning TCR UK champion, down there in 10th position at the moment, but absolutely looking enthused about his prospects of working his way through the grid. Butti aggressive over the curbs there. The Italian's pushing, isn't he? You can tell that Marco Butti is very much taking this car to the envelope of what it's capable of. And at this moment in time, that's only good enough for third position. But crucially, take a look at the back of that queue. There's Alex Lee, race 1 winner from yesterday, pole sitter as well. He's now in 5th position, but more importantly than anything, 5th position and in the conversation with the cars ahead. Mike Halder is going to have to go from an attacking posture to a defensive stance very soon indeed. The German will be desperate to find a way past Marco Butti, put another car between himself and the chasing Alex Lee. Be right on board, perfectly on cue with Mike. There is a little mistake, or is it a racing line? No, it's a bit of a line alternative there for Park. Butti thought about it for a few moments, but he's wise enough, he's experienced enough, is Marco, to know that to put a nose to the inside of a car in a gap that's always going to close will only end in a DNF. Although right on cue, Marco Butti puts his nose in a gap that is always going to close. It didn't end in a DNF though, so good news on this occasion, and he's got a monster run through the final corner. This is a big opportunity now for Marco, who has got the legs in a straight line. Hyundai versus Cupra, Johnson Park versus Marco Butti, Solite Indigo Racing versus Monlau Motorsports, and it looks like Park has the advantage, has the legs in a straight line, just about to hold off the intentions of the Italian driver. Marco leaving a nose there for good measure. Oh, Lee, Alex Lee, off shot, has managed to find a way past Mike Halder down to San Donato. So Alex Lee, race 1 winner. There is the BRC driver doing his best rally impression, it seems, on the lock stop sideways through sector 1. But Alex Lee now up into 4th position, and 14.5 minutes still to go, and everybody's in his front windscreen. Could this be a double winner for our English driver? I wouldn't want to bet against it. I'll have to say Nick Taylor will be well aware of the ever-increasing threat from on behind. He's going to be pushing now. Taylor still leading this race. At the head of the pack, the PMA Motorsports Audi driver, the reigning double TCR Italy champion, of course, doing an absolutely sterling job. 1.4 seconds is the advantage at the head of the pack. There's Lee looking a little bit frustrated, getting a little bit dynamic behind the back of Marco Butti. He knows if he's got any aspirations of taking a double race victory, then Alex Lee is going to absolutely have to get the move on. Right then, I am hearing, while we watch this battle, that we're going to have a little look at some overtaking action. This is on board then with Mike Halder. This is the run down into San Donato. At the time, Mike was in 4th position. A little bit late on the brakes, gave Alex Lee the racing room. That's good stuff from Mike Halder. Recognised that Lee was to the inside, gave him the racing room that he commanded. And Mike He's been around a long time. He's smart enough to know championships aren't made by fighting over one place. They're made from banking the points. And this is another solid points haul as things stand for the German driver, confirmed relatively late in the day at ALM Motorsports. It's all about getting the experience, the miles, and the time behind the wheel. Right then, Nick Taylor, fair and clear at the head of the pack. Johnson Park under all the pressure in the world. There's another little look for Marco Bucci. I think that was contact between our second and third place man. Yes, it was. There is Park now, pushed to the outside of the circuit. You can see a little bit of damage on the rear quarter of that Solheim Indigo car. So Marco Bucci, in touring car style, a little bit of a rat-a-tat-tat, get out of my way, sunshine. And the end result is Bucci now up into that second position. That's a free overtake for Alex Lee. And there is Mike Halder using all the curbs, all the grass. Be careful, Mike, not to get a track limits infringement. You've always got to have a wheel in contact with the curb to stay within the track limits. And Mike Halder has now very much been given a notice of intent that, Mike, if you want to stay in this conversation, you're going to have to find a way past. Let's ride on board then with Marco Bucci and dissect exactly what happened. We've seen this move before. On this occasion, though, the overlap was a little bit larger for Marco. That's the natural line, it seems, of both drivers. The door was always going to close, and sadly, for Johnson Park, he's the one that paid the biggest price of that duo, dropping down from second position into fourth and into the very grateful clutches of a particularly enthusiastic Mike Halder, the ALM Motorsport driver, clinging on to the rear of the Hyundai Elantra, in fact, trying to wing the car to the inside. There's a lot more front end, isn't there, on that Honda than there is the Hyundai at this moment in time, but the outside becomes the inside for Park. And that is a very firm job of keeping that door well and truly closed to the car behind. Good stuff there. Once again, good stuff from Park, although as soon as I praise him, the door is left very firmly ajar, and Mike Halder has absolutely no option whatsoever than to walk straight through it, though. The drag race down the start very straight. Halder has the inside for the final corner, but that will become the outside for T1, and you don't want to be on the outside in that position. It's not the optimal line. Let's have a look then. Who will break the latest? Halder maybe will look to nip the car back to the inside for the switch bike, or he's going to juke it out. He's going to juke it out around the outside. That's good stuff from both of these drivers, giving each other as little room as possible, but just enough to go motor racing. And that, folks, is... take a video of that one, write it down, put it into text, and make it a book on how you overtake. That was picture perfect from both drivers. Hard, clean, and fair. Good stuff. Not good stuff, though, is a bonnet up on a Solheim machine. That is Janui Park. That's a real... Janui's must have stood on a black cat or walked under 1,000 ladders over the off-season, because he's just not had the fortune this weekend in Mugello at all. He's had the pace. He just hasn't quite come together to deliver the results for the Solheim Indigo driver. Hopefully, he has a little bit of time to pick himself back up, pick the chin back up again, and retry at Spa-Francorchamps with no Janui. He's a very, very talented young man indeed, and we expect to see him bothering the front end of the grid significantly over the course of the year, as Adam Shepherd is bothering the rear end of Nico Baldan's PMA Motorsports Audi. A flash of the lights. Ooh, big contact, big contact. That's a 24 of Julian Brichet. The front end of that JSP Hyundai Elantra suggests bad things have happened. And there is Victor Fernandez as well. Let's have a look on the timing screen, see if it still comes up. It doesn't. Oh dear, oh dear. Two cars, damage, gravel. Suggests good times have not been had for the two of them. And unfortunately, that means it is, of course, a safety car intervention. We can't go racing with two cars very heavily stranded in the gravel. Luckily, with 9 minutes left on the clock, the Marshall teams here at Mugello, as they are all around the world, are absolutely outstanding. So they'll jump to work. And a big, big thank you to the Marshalls all around the world and the circuit here today as well. It's my favourite thing to say, and I will continue to say it even if it becomes boring. If we didn't have Marshalls, we wouldn't go motor racing. They're more important than the drivers, the teams, and everything else. They are the absolute glue that allows us to do our passion. So to each and every one of you, future, past and present, thank you very much for all you do. It is appreciated by us all. What's not appreciated by Julian Brichet is the damage on the front of his car. And the reason he's so interested in that one is he'll also be the man fixing it. He's very much We don't shake hands very often, 'cause it's usually covered in oil. With Julian, he's very much involved there, and that's sad to see. Small team, JSB competition. They really could ill afford to be repairing significant accident damage like that one. And hopefully we get to see what occurred there between Julian Brichet and Victor Fernandez. But the end result is clear for us all to see. Both drivers into a DNF. They join Victor Weyrich and Max Hart and Janui Park as early retirees from the second race from the opening round of a 6-round 2026 TCR Europe Championship. There we go, snatch vehicle on track already. As I say, excellent work from the Marshall teams here at Mugello. And I'll use this opportunity, while we have a small pause in proceedings, to remind everybody watching at home, whether you're watching this on YouTube or the many platforms that we have available nowadays in TCR Europe. If you want to know more about the championship, follow us on social media. Take a look at us on Instagram, on X, on Facebook, and many other platforms, TCR Europe. All of the information and all of the insight. And of course, if you like our championship and you want to know more, the TCR Unbox program is going through a bit of a refresh for this season. That'll be out in a short while after the conclusion of this weekend. I do implore you to check it out on TCR TV on YouTube. It's a great platform for us to hopefully provide a little bit more insight, a little bit more information, and bring you along on the journey of this wonderful family that is TCR Europe. And I know I'm biased, of course, because I work here and I love it, but it really is an absolutely fabulous place to compete and to spectate and to work for. And we can try and give you a bit more insight into the personalities and the characters behind the superstars on track. And I dare say you want to drop into that one. Right then, I'm hearing a quick note that we've got a 5-second time penalty to Marco Butti. There is Marco in second position. 5-second time penalty for contact with Park. So Marco will have 5 seconds added to his race time at the end of this session. And for the Italian driver, if that ends under safety car, that's not going to be very good at all. Marco will be absolutely desperate for this safety car to hurry up and come to its conclusion, for us to finish this race under green flag, and just to give him as much opportunity as possible to gap those behind for that 5-second time penalty. So I'm just hearing that in a few moments we'll hopefully take a replay of the incident that collected the 5-second time penalty for Marco Butti. Things just seem to always go a little bit wrong, don't they, for the Italians? So let's have another look again. This is the natural line of both drivers. We've seen this 3-4 times previously, but it was just a few inches overlap more than previous on this occasion. It was absolutely Park's right to close that back down again, and of course Marco didn't do enough in the eyes of the stewards to avoid the contact between the two of them, hence the 5-second time penalty. But thankfully, for fans of the 111, the note at the bottom of your screen, safety car is in this lap. This is going to give Marco Butti about 4 minutes and change to go as fast as he possibly can, try and build a 5-second buffer as much as possible to the cars below to get as many points as he can for himself and, of course, for his brand new Monlau Motorsports team. Seems strange, doesn't it, to see Marco racing in the Monlau colours when we're so used to MM Motorsport last season. So close came the Italian driver to the Drivers' Championship. Of course, that championship was won by the Claires. Had a message earlier today from them as well. Very much missed in TCR Europe. If you're watching on back at home, Jimmy and Teddy, much love to you both, and we hope to see you again very, very soon out on the racetrack with us. Right then, Nick Taylor, in a few moments' time, will, in effect, become the de facto safety car as our Cupra pulls down into pit lane, peels off of the racetrack, and is all down to the 21-year-old Canadian driver. Nick Taylor still hunting, let's remember, for his first win in TCR Europe, double TCR Italy champion. But he's still looking to make his mark, to put his name down in the history books of TCR Europe lore in years gone by. And I feel This is a best opportunity yet for the Canadian driver to score that victory. Remember Marco Butti? He's there physically, but he's got the 5-second time penalty hanging over him. So even if he can make the move on Nick Taylor, it's not going to be the win unless he can build 5 seconds in just under 3 minutes. And frankly, if he can build 5 seconds in 3 minutes, deserves every victory under the book. So then, Nick Taylor leads the field through the final corner. Seems to get a bit of a good start, actually, compared to the rest of the pack. Butti caught napping a little bit on this occasion. There is Alex Lee. Remember Alex? Pole position, race 1 victory. He's got a big opportunity. 2 cars in 3 minutes. Sounds like a sim racing challenge, that one, doesn't it? But I think Alex Lee will be up for the challenge, most definitely. Look at the Hyundai Elantra in the slipstream. Very much looking to send it to the inside. Butti tries to defend. That's not your game, Marco. You need to think about the clock, not the track position. There's a mistake from the ALM car. Side by side we go. The inside becomes the outside for Alex Lee. Does he have the legs around the outside? No, he doesn't. And there is Mike Halder. Mike, keeping a watching brief, the experienced driver, allows the 2 ahead to squabble, then looks for opportunity. Where's Halder's next shout? He doesn't want to look here. He wants to be nice and calm through here. Catch the apex to the left. Look at the run for the right. Try and straighten the corner as much as possible for the German driver. Get the run through into the next right-hander. And in fact, a safety car has been called. So Mike, cool your jet, sunshine, because it is over and done. Oh, and there we go. From the glory to the pain, Gabriele Corvini. He was in tears yesterday from his debut podium. He's going to be in tears today because his car looks distinctly second-hand. That's the run. Yeah, that's San Donato. That is T1. So what quite has happened to Alex Lee? Clearly, no, sorry, not Alex Lee, Gabriele Corvini. Clearly he's had a little bit of help to get to that position. But for Corvini, devastating for the Italian driver. And this, folks, is motor racing. The highs and the lows. It's good to see he's out of the car, though. So let's have a look then a little bit further back. There is the BRC squad. Sideways already, a little bit of contact from the ICOA machine as well. And around we go. I mean, to be fair, Corvini was already heading, I think, straight to the scene of the accident before that contact. And there it is. Does not look particularly gratifying, does it, on board? Smallest of contacts, the biggest of consequences, and for Gabby, unfortunately, more work for the marshals. And I do think, great as these marshals are, they can't make that car disappear in 50 seconds. So I think we're going to end under safety car conditions. And for Marco Butti, that could not be more of a disaster for the Italian driver, because don't forget, 5 seconds will be applied to the end of his race time. Under safety car conditions, everybody's bunched up together. What's Gabriele got there? I don't think he knows either. Huh. He's found something that's piqued his interest, at least. I don't think he'll be taking that bit of debris home like we used to do when we were young and put it on the wall in the office. I think he'll want to forget about this one very quickly indeed. But there you go. That's the field winging their way through. Safety car, obviously, is not going to go in. And we're not going to finish this one, I don't think, under green flag conditions. I think I'm fairly safe to make that assumption with 1 second left on the clock, plus a singular lap. And there is not a gratifying way for Gabriele Corvini or BRC Racing to end their weekend, and a great weekend it has been. Let's not take anything away. Alex Lee, pole position yesterday, race victory. Gabriele Corvini in 3rd place for his debut podium. Flip it over to this morning for race number 2, reverse grid. Lee's managed to get himself all the way back into the podium. That's almost unheard of in touring car terms. So really, really powerful performance from Alex Lee. And I have a very strong suspicion that that man Gabriele Corvini's time will come at some stage in the future. Just not today, not in Mugello, and certainly not at San Donato. Right then, safety car apparently will be in this lap, according to my notes, probably because we'll all be in this lap for the conclusion of the race. Let's have a look then at the running order as things stand. Caveat: Marco Butti has 5 seconds to be applied to his time, so he's second on track at this moment in time. But it's not going to stay that way, I don't think. So safety car will be in this lap, so we will go green flag. Well done, marshals. Well done indeed. That's a very, very rapid snatch to get that car out of the gravel trap and get us back in for a final green flag run. So 1 lap race to the line for these drivers. This is going to be... I almost feel like I don't want to commentate on this one. I just like to sit and watch. This is going to be really interesting. So Nicholas Taylor, he knows Bouti's got the penalty. He knows he's not a threat per se, but also Marco will be very keen to send it to the inside. This is dangerous for Nicholas Taylor. He knows he's confident in his own pace, he's confident in the car, but the big question mark is going to be a very, very enthusiastic and desperate's completely the wrong word, but hyper keen, shall we say, Marco Buti. He needs to get as much air between himself and cars behind as humanly possible. Look how big his eyes are. Absolute dustbin lids in the car for Marco Buti. He's ready and willing to go. Good start again, though. Good restart again from Nick Taylor. Fantastic. Not quite as big as we saw the last couple of times, but he has got a couple of car lengths from Buti in second place. This is good from everybody all the way back. There is Alex Lee, not close enough to make a charge just yet. Buti needs to be conscious now. You don't want to be defending like we saw last time around. That's losing time. It's the clock, not the people, that Marco Buti is racing against. But Taylor gets it done and dusted on the restart. He's now comfortable at the head of the pack. A little bit further back, I think we saw someone dive into the inside. Is that Myhalder and Park side by side? Can't quite see on our screen. There is one of the Hondas in strife. That is Victor Chan. Gathers the car back together again nice and quickly, though, does the 37. Stays on the track. Lap time, not lap times aren't important for Victor. It's time on track. It's what he's here for at this moment in time. And did a good job up there in 17th position at this moment. So let's have a look at Marco Buti. He has built a gap, hasn't he? It's not 5 seconds, not by any stretch of the imagination, but this is working out reasonably well for the Italian driver. He'll be desperately hoping that Nick Taylor can pick up the pace a little bit just to give him that few more yards than he might need to secure the position. But for Nick Taylor, he has zero concerns about any of that kind of thing. Nick Taylor can smell victory champagne in his nostrils. The family will all be ready. Beautiful family are the Taylors. Wonderful, wonderful people. Great guy is Nick. Very, very affable young man. Also very professional, incredibly fast. It's great to talk to the whole family, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond to this one if Nick does finally get the job done and take it over the line. This will be a big first victory for the Canadian driver in TCR Europe. Marco Buti keeping in the wheel tracks, though, doing everything he can to minimise the pain of that 5-second time penalty. It's going to be a cost, though, for Marco Buti. We'll see, hopefully live as they cross the line. We'll come back to that one in a minute. As here we go, he's the reigning double TCR Italy champion, and now Nick Taylor can call himself a race winner in TCR Europe with a dominant performance here at Mugello. An incredible job then from the Canadian driver, absolutely faultless at the head of the pack, takes the victory, takes the first win in this category for the young driver. The first win, I dare say, of many, many more to come. The sign, the measure of a driver that is comfortable and in control is when you see the body language of the car, like we've seen this weekend from Nick Taylor. He's a man very, very hungry for success. The live timing hasn't updated just yet for Marco Buti. Of course, he crosses the line in second position, but he will lose 5 seconds and drop a little bit further down. We'll do the provisional results in a little while and see exactly where that one washes out at the end. But something that's in absolutely categorically no doubt whatsoever is that man, Nick Taylor. Victory at long last in TCR. You know, 2025 was badged as a learning year for the circuit, the tyres, the team, well, the team he worked races with, of course, already, and for the championship. And he came in, he put some strong results, he tried things, did different things, built his knowledge base, ready for a concerted attack in 2026. The team have brought Nico Baldan in as well. Nico Baldan, his main rival from TCR Italy. They've got a very strong outfit indeed. So let's have a look then at our provisional race results from race number 1. A bit of mental maths suggests that Marco Buti will be about 8th position, time adjusted, by the time the 5 seconds have been applied, but I'm not a very good mathematician, so don't quote me on that one. Right then, This is how they cross the line. It's Nick Taylor from Marco Butti from Alex Lee. 4th position to Mike Halder. In 5th is Johnson Park. Nico Baldan in 6th. Adam Shepherd, great drive from him in 7th. Victor Anderson in 8th position. Good day for Monlau Motorsports. Tiago Pernilla lines up in finishes in 9th. And then Mikhail Simonov. Very quiet race for Mikhail, but a fantastic performance. Once again inside the top 10 on his debut weekend. 11th goes the way of a unusually subdued Ruben Volt. 12th is Ton Schaap, great stuff from Tom. 13th for Felipe Fernandez, Rafael Fournier in 14th. Santiago Concepcion, Sandro Pilate, Giacomo Prandelli and Victor Chan are our final drivers that finished. And sadly, Gabriele Corvini, Julian Brichet, Victor Fernandez, Janui Park, Max Hart and Victor Weyrich are the drivers that don't make the checkered flag for the second and final race of the weekend here in Italy. So, dear people, what have we learnt? We've learnt it's going to be an absolutely incredible season. Let's have a look then how the championship standings fare after 3 points paying opportunities. Qualifying, of course, pays out 10 points for our pole sitter, and then race 1 and race 2 that we have just enjoyed. In a few moments' time, they'll flash up on the screen and we can have a look who our early pace setter is. I can tell you now, even before I know the numbers, Alex Lee's going to be the man at the top of that pack. A pole, a win, and a podium. Does not get much better than that. Second position, then it will be time adjusted with Marco Butti's demotion down to 8th. Mike Halder, of course, will step up to the bottom step of the podium in 3rd place as well, so that's good. Good for Mike. Podium on his weekend return to TCR Europe. He'll be very, very pleased with that one indeed. But nobody, upon nobody, will be more pleased than the man in the green machine there. Oh, that's going to be a tight bit of parking. It's like at my hotel in a hire car. He's done it though. Look at that one. Or has he? That would be hilarious to scuff the back of Alex Lee's car. But no, he's got it done. And let's take a moment to celebrate with Nick Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm sure you're like me and you probably won't taste success in a national touring car in a competition. So let's enjoy it alongside this man, Nick Taylor. Folks, that's what victory feels like. Number 1, says the Canadian. Straight over to the team to celebrate. And PMA Motorsports will absolutely love that one. They've come up together of team and driver. They've very much been as one. There's Detlef Schmidt from Audi Sport. Detlef always around TCR championships around the world. He just loves his Audi. And look at that one. Incredible, absolutely incredible stuff. Wonderful scenes here in the paddock and a wonderful race victory for a very talented and very impressive young man indeed. Nick Taylor's got a big future. On his 4th season of racing, believe it or not, and already he's won 2 TCR Italy championships. So, yeah, if you need any more sign that a man's got talent, I think taking a championship in everything he races in is probably a good one. There is Sandro Pilate. He's in with PMA Motorsports just for this weekend, the affable Italian. Lovely guy is Sandro. Loves his motor racing, having a little bit of a guest turn in the Cupra here. Straight there to celebrate with Nicholas Taylor. It's a family environment at PMA. We say this a lot about TCR Europe and the teams within it, but we really do mean it. It is a very good atmosphere in the paddocks. Right then, let's have a look at the highlights then of the race that we have just enjoyed. So we had a couple of safety car inventions. Marco Butti, of course, was very keen to make up for the dramas of race 1. When the lights went out, everybody got away from the line perfectly, unlike Tiago Pernilla in the previous round. A little bit of contact further back, though. That's what happened to Max Hart. Max unceremoniously turfed off the side of the racetrack. Contact with Gabriele Corvini. Max not happy about that one. Nico Baldan almost losing the car once again in T1. Good driving from the Italian to gather things together. The name of the game during the race today would be off-track excursions. Every one of our drivers keen to find a position. Marco Butti a little bit too keen on this occasion. Contact between himself and Johnson Park would earn a 5-second time penalty for the Italian driver from 2nd to 8th on the grid. Gabriele Corvini from podium yesterday to early retirement today. That's where we said goodbye to the Italian driver, and that's what brought out our final one-lap dash to the flag. Nick Taylor, though, was the man more than up for the challenge and takes with him his very first race victory in the best way possible. And with those highlights complete, I think Helena does have our race winner down there in pit lane. So let's head and hear a few words from Nicholas Taylor, TCR Europe race winner. Oh, no, I do apologize. In fact, I'm hearing actually the interview. We're going to skip that one and go straight to the podium celebration. So if things change, we will let you know, but in a few moments' time, we will be going to spray some champagne and celebrating the finest style. What has been a very, very impressive day indeed for young Nick Taylor. One wonders if this could be the start of something quite impressive in 2026 for the Canadian. We've seen that once he gets going in TCR Italy, there's very little stopping the driver of the number 17 machine. It's a different prospect in TCR Europe, but again, it's shown to be more
we are ready for the podium
the
ceremony
challenge.
for race 2 of TCR Europe.
Bear with us then for a few moments as we gather. Anybody who's ever worked in motor racing will be well aware that trying to get drivers onto a podium is very similar to trying to push water uphill. It's not the easiest task in the whole wide world. They're great at driving race cars, they're great at everything else, but being where they're supposed to be on time isn't always their strongest suit. And here we go. Podium celebrations. There's Mike Halder in 3rd. Alex Lee steps up to his slot in 2nd position. And then, of course, anybody watching this one that's familiar with TCR Italy will be more than familiar with seeing Nick Taylor at the top step of the podium. Matteo from PMA comes to take the winning team's trophy as well.
And now the trophy presentation. Please welcome
the Canadian national anthem for a visibly emotional Nicholas Taylor. That's how much it means to the young driver. A man with so much success. But you can see he's on the brink of tears there for this victory. And here we go then, podium awards trophy celebration. Federico Ponteri from TCR South America hands the trophy to Mike Halder, the ever-growing collection for Mike there. Guillermo Barber, Kumo engineer, hands out 2nd place trophy to Alex Lee. Then, of course, Ruben Fernandez, TCR Europe promoter, gives the winner's trophy to Nick Taylor. Aloft for all to see. He's got a lot of trophies as Nick, but I've got a feeling this one, perhaps, maybe going to the centre of the mantelpiece. Ruben Fernandez again, handing out the trophy there for PMA Motorsports. And their first victory in TCR Europe as well. Great stuff for the young Italian team. Extra bottle of champagne will come out for our Diamond Trophy winner and for our youth best for 22 and under before the start of free practice 1 at the beginning of this weekend. And there is Sandro Polatti. Definitely not in the youth trophy. Is Sandro. He takes the Diamond Trophy once again. He's collecting quite a few of these. Is Sandro. And of course, Federico, I believe, will be the man to present that trophy. Yes, indeed. TCR South America. There it is. That is the youth trophy for Nick Taylor. And there is Diamond for Sandro Polatti. No doubt the Italian will be as cheerful as always about another good day in the office here at Mugello. So there we go then, family photo time. And that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. So from myself, Paul Jeffrey, from the team at TCR Europe, and from us all here in Mugello, your company's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. Take care, and bye-bye.